I guess I was probably like 11 or 12. Very often we would go over to our friends, the McGannon's house, and watch the Lions games, and that was because they had Billy Sims. There was this great sense like, oh, this guy might make a real difference. And there's this crazy run where the quarterback pitched him the ball. Billy got past the line, and he ran up, he jumped on a guy's back, like his leg went on a guy's back, and he kicked off of that guy. Another guy came from the side, and he kicked that guy. So he like used this dude as a launching pad to karate kick this guy.
Oh my goodness, did you see that? He hit Steve Brown with what looked like a karate kick.
After that, I kind of went, oh, that's it, I'm watching football. Because if anything like that ever happens again, I don't want to miss it.
Get out of the way, Steve Brown. Here comes Billy Sims. He's launched. He's a rocket.
This play made the 98 greatest play in the NFL.
Really? I had a lot of great runs. It wasn't the only one I've had, during my career.
The many highlights in the life of Billy Sims. Today on NFL Films Presents.
I've been wanting to meet you for years, buddy.
In Oklahoma, Billy Sims has been immortalized. In Detroit, he was recently announced as part of their all-time team. But when people see the Lions number 20, they usually think about a different running back with the same initials, who happened to be one of his biggest fans.
The fact that my dad was a big Oklahoma Sooner fan had a lot to do with how much I know about Billy. I loved his style, a fluid, dynamic, electric runner. I love the afro sticking out the back of the helmet. Before my day, he was the guy that everyone identified with number 20. I believe there's some similarities in kind of being slippery and elusive. He was probably more power in some ways.
Two totally different backs, completely, and I think that's what's missing. Barry Sanders is amazing. He could lose 10 as well as gain 20. Billy was a workhorse. Billy was always going to get positive yards no matter what.
Billy Sims will have another Lions first down. That's just raw, athletic, running talent.
Sims, unlike Sanders, thrived in short yardage situations.
1 yard, 2 yards, 3 yards, he was going to leap over the top.
I used to take gymnastic classes growing up in St. Louis, diving over stuff, tumbling and all that stuff.
The biggest difference between Sims and Sanders was what they did once they reached the end zone.
Barry was really quiet. Barry would cross the goal line and hand the ball to the, which, it got its own respect in a certain way. Billy came through, man, high knee in it and doing the airplane, man.
He's certainly outgoing, almost like a magnetic personality, attracts people.
Sims' ability to draw a crowd began in high school in Hooks, Texas.
Everybody knew who he was. He was the number one back in the state of Texas. I went to see Billy play 5 or 6 times on Friday nights. And the first time I saw him, I knew he was special.
Sims was committed to play football for Baylor, but Barry Switzer would not give up trying to recruit him. One Saturday afternoon, Sims was working at the local gas station, while Switzer was coaching the Sooners in a rout of Colorado.
It was 28-0 at half, and I walked in the locker room and I saw a payphone on the wall over there. I said, I want to call CJ's Conoco service station in I-30 in Hooks, Texas.
I go to the phone, it's Coach Switzer on the payphone at halftime of one of the Colorado OU games. I couldn't believe it. He said, we up here, we beating them pretty bad, and I didn't have anything to tell my players, and I was thinking about you.
We talked for 25 minutes, and he heard the official come up to me, the referee, come up and tap me on the shoulder and said, Coach, you got to get your team back out in the field. We're kicking off in 5 minutes.
He said, you hear that, number 20? I said, yes, sir. He said, I'm going to promise you 2 things if you recommit and come to this great institution, this great University of Oklahoma. I said, okay, here it comes. So what's that, Coach? He said, first of all, I'm going to make sure you get your degree, so I know your grandmother will love it. He pulled a grandmother card on me. And 2, you're going to win the Heisman Trophy. True story. After that phone call and everything, it was over. It was over.
His junior year, Sims soared above the rest. He ran for 1,762 yards, 20 touchdowns, and averaged 7.6 yards per carry. Oklahoma was 9-0 and the top team in the country when they faced Nebraska. With less than 4 minutes left, the Sooners trailed 17-14.
The pitch is outside to Sims. He runs through a tackle. He's down to the 5-yard line. He fumbles. Nebraska got the ball.
We fumbled 9 times that day and lost 6 of them.
Of course, nobody remembered the other 8, but everybody remembered mine because I had the last one.
Oklahoma lost the game and a chance at a national championship.
Obviously, it seemed like the end of the world, not only to Billy, who took it very hard, but to Oklahoma fans.
Billy, won the Heisman anyway and deserved the Heisman. The fumble didn't hurt him. His performance that day was still great.
And in an unusual twist, Oklahoma drew Nebraska in the Orange Bowl.
You know what? We didn't fumble that night. And Billy had another great game and dominated the game.
Sims starred again his senior year and got better as the season wore on. After running for 282 yards against Missouri, Oklahoma hosted third-ranked Nebraska in the regular season finale.
And they led the nation in defense against rush, only giving up 68 yards a game.
He said, we had a great ride. I said, yeah, Coach, we had a great ride. He said, you think you got one more good game left in you? I said, Coach, I saved my best for last.
First time he touched the ball in the game, he goes 70 yards for a touchdown. Just call back. Let me tell you what, he did save the best for last, and it was special.
He finished with 247 rushing yards, the most ever allowed by a Nebraska defense.
Won the game damn near single-handedly because of what he did. And I jump up into his arms, he picks me up because I was so happy for him.
In the Orange Bowl, Sims ran for 164 yards in a win over undefeated Florida State. His end-of-the-year heroics would not earn him a second Heisman. He came in second to Southern California's Charles White.
People could send the ballots in for the last games we ever played. If they had seen how everybody performed the last couple of games, Billy won the Heisman that year too.
When it came to the NFL draft, there was no question who was the best player in college football. Sims went first overall.
You know, first round, first pick sound pretty good till they tell you where you was going. I said, Detroit, they had just won 2 games the year before, and I'm thinking, oh no, this don't sound good.
Up next, Billy Sims becomes a Lion and restores the roar.
Billy, you've come to Detroit as a highly touted rookie. How do you handle being a superstar?
You know, he's our first-round draft choice. He's the Heisman Trophy winner. So what's he going to be like? How's he going to be?
It wouldn't take long to find out.
Billy Sims. Boy, I'll see you later. Isn't that beautiful? Billy Sims. Oh, he's marvelous. Billy Sims following Dexter Bussey goes outside to the 5, touchdown. There he goes, the magnificent Billy Sims. Is he ever for real?
In a stunning debut against the defending NFC champion Rams, Billy Sims had over 200 total yards and scored 3 touchdowns. The The Lions, a team that had not won a playoff game in 23 years, started out 4-0.
Sims can do an awful lot of things.
He's made his impact in the National Football League right off the start.
Sims finished the year with 1,303 rushing yards and scored 16 touchdowns. And after catching just 2 passes his entire career at Oklahoma, he was the team's second leading receiver. He was the Rookie of the Year and the new face of the franchise.
If Billy wouldn't have come in, the Lions would have been a different team. He's an exciting person to watch, and he's breathing just as hard as anyone else. But what you see is just a depth of desire and determination, and I think that's why he's so respected on our team.
In his second season, Sims ran for 1,437 yards.
Billy was the team. And he did it not only by his actions, but he also did it by demanding stuff. He was vocal. He would say, "We got to win." And it pulled people up.
In 1983, the Lions won their division for the first time in 26 years in the season's final week. But in the game, they lost their starting quarterback Eric Hipple to a knee injury. Gary Danielson got the start in the playoff game against San Francisco.
I was angry because I didn't get a chance to play in the game. Billy was angry because here's his chance to win a freaking playoff game. Gary threw 5 interceptions that game.
In the fourth quarter, the Lions trailed 17-9.
I'm kicking buckets and tables out the way because I'm upset because I'm not getting to carry the ball. And I was telling the coach on the sideline, we need to run the ball. We got to run the ball. That's what got us here.
Sims and the Lions came roaring back.
Touchdown, Billy Sims. The Lions take it into the end zone for the first time this afternoon. There's a give to Billy. Quick trap up the middle. Touchdown, Detroit. All right, Billy! With less than 5 minutes to go, Detroit has taken the lead.
Where's Al Michaels, huh? Do you believe in miracles?
Joe Montana then drove the 49ers 70 yards to take back the lead. The game would come down to a Detroit 44-yard field goal.
I had a great kicker at that time, Eddie Murray. He could do it in his sleep.
There it is right now. This is pressure.
Long enough. It is no good. He missed it to the right.
The wind caught it, and we ended up losing. If it wasn't for the win, we've been to the next round, and who knows what would have happened.
The next season, the Lions would suffer a loss even more devastating.
In warm-ups, I was complaining because my shoes was getting caught in the seams when I run or take off or whatever.
Here comes Billy on a sweep right behind Greco. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Billy Sims holding his right knee.
If it wasn't for the bad turf, my leg wouldn't have got stuck when he hit me like that. But I'm thinking it's just a bad sprain. I'll be okay.
The damage was extensive. Sims had torn multiple ligaments and underwent a 7-hour surgery.
We all anticipated him coming back. He seemed to be working out okay.
Sims arrived at camp in 1985, but not all was well.
They came out and made the announcement that Billy didn't pass the physical, and so he's not going to be on the team. Everybody looked at each other and said, no. Without having that proper send-off, here's what you meant and everything else, it was just like, it's over.
After going seeing several doctors around the country, it was basically a good idea just to hang it up, because I was being a different type of runner too. Wouldn't have the spring to jump like and dive and all that stuff, so it was best for me to give it up.
Sims' playing career in the NFL lasted 4.5 seasons. He left as the Lions' all-time leading rusher.
Up next, Billy Sims' unlikely climb back to prominence.
When Billy Sims retired from the Lions, he returned to Hooks, Texas.
I was involved in real estate business. I had a nightclub business. I was part owner of a radio station.
About the same time, the Lions were in the business of finding Billy Sims' replacement. In 1988, Wayne Fontes was the Lions' head coach, and Oklahoma State running back Barry Sanders was the latest winner of the Heisman Trophy.
They were debating about whether drafting Barry or this defensive back, and I called Wayne. I said, Wayne, listen to me. I know good when I see good, but this is great. You guys got to draft Barry.
With the 3rd overall pick in the 1989 draft, the Lions did just that.
I wore 21 in college. I assumed that I would do the same in the pros. Wayne Fontes came to me at some point and just said, yeah, well, I think we want to put you in number 20 and Billy Sims' number. I said, I think that'd be great. It was an honor, and my thinking was, hey, look, I just hope I can live up to what he did.
They will stop play, and out comes Billy Sims.
Sims returned to Detroit when Sanders broke his rookie rushing record.
That was truly an honor and a big deal to have him there. For all practical purposes, he probably still would have been playing had he not been injured.
It couldn't happen to a better guy. And I was just more happy for him to take that number 20 to another level.
The new pride of the Lions would indeed exceed the previous one. In addition to overtaking all of Sims's records,
Barry to the 45 and bumps to the 40, breaks it 35, 30, he's gone!
Sanders led the Lions to their first and only playoff win since 1957. While Sanders was capturing the heart of Detroit, Sims and his businesses went into a tailspin.
Bad investments, bad deals like that. Trusting people too much.
In 1990, Sims filed for bankruptcy.
The story that I've always heard, and I think that was pretty prevalent with Oklahoma fans, was that he had actually sold his Heisman Trophy.
Yeah, it bothered me. I was trying to track Billy down. I didn't want to do it. If you sell it to me. Hell, I'll take care of whatever you need. He would be too embarrassed to let me be involved in it.
I don't want to say that Billy fell from grace with Oklahoma fans, because I don't think that's the right way to put it. Maybe his reputation was tarnished to a degree. He was no longer looked upon with such reverence.
If Sims was down and out, he rarely showed it.
How you doing, young man? You doing all right today?
At an autograph signing in 2000, his energy and optimism caught the attention of the store owner.
I'm from Kansas. I really didn't know who he was and what his story was. Came in at 10 o'clock when the mall opened, and the mall closes at 9 o'clock.
How you doing? What's your name, man?
9:30, 10 o'clock, Billy's still out there. I'm like, you're still here? He goes, well, I don't leave till the last person's gone. I'm just like, Billy, you got this personality. We got to do something more with you.
He said, we ought to open up a barbecue restaurant. And I'm thinking, barbecue? I said, nah, not me. He said, why not? I said, well, you know, at the end of the day, if my name is up there and the food's not any good, they're going to be looking at me, not you. So one thing led to another. He stayed at it a couple of years, and finally we started.
In 2004, the first Billy Sims barbecue restaurant opened in Oklahoma.
We got meat!
15 years later, there are now more than 40 across 6 states.
For breakfast is so good.
Oh my gosh, makes me want to say Boomer!
Sooner!
Billy's the brand. Billy's the name and face of the company.
They're looking good.
If Billy can get a minute or two with people, they're going to walk out of that door going, that is one good guy. We're one of the few celebrity-based restaurants that's been successful.
He got that second chance against Nebraska and made the most of it. When he got a second chance in life, he's back to being Oklahoma royalty.
Billy Sims, what's going on, young blood? Keep up the great work.
And beloved by fans. And certainly still one of the greatest players of all time.
You know that you should have won 2 Heismans. I know that, and you think you should have done that. But listen,
well,
I got a question.
Not really.
Well, I know you should have, without doubt. The way you ended up the season, if you'd won it, you think we should have had it 2 out here, just add your name, 78, 79. What you want?
There aren't 2 statues, but there are 2 Billy Sims Heisman trophies. One is on permanent display in the Switzer Center at the university.
Yep, that's it.
The other, Sims maintains, is in safe hands.
My mother has it at her house in St. Louis. She said it was holding the door open for her. She was moving some furniture around, so she has it.
From Detroit. I've been wanting to meet you for years, buddy.
In Detroit, Billy Sims still knows how to excite a crowd. Even though Barry Sanders surpassed him in both accomplishments and popularity, and his name is not on the Ford Field wall, he still feels very much at home.
You haven't noticed your name is not inside the stadium, have you?
Well, it is. I got the barbecue place on the stage.
You better get your picture while I'm still living. You never know.
Billy Sims Barbecue has been in Ford Field since 2013.
So jealous.
Many people still remembered Billy Sims around Detroit. He had all the records.
Awesome.
And was well on his way to a Hall of Fame career. And he certainly left his mark.
Legend. It's 2 numbers, man. You're the first number 20, sir.
Oh, I finally see one with my name on around here. The other BS.
Billy and I became pretty good friends.
Hip, 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 hip.
Respect that man for, for everything that he did in the beginning of my career, and watching him and learning from him and how to be a leader and how to take a hit and get back up again. And there were times when I would see him come back, he was kind of the shadow of himself. But to see him today and be able to put it all in perspective and enjoy his career. He comes back now and he's part of the team. He's getting hugs.
Easy money.
And he's hugging back. And it's really cool to see.
Boy, back from the dead. God, yo, let it go. God.
Billy and I talk every week. He's by here all the time. He's just as genuine as can be. He is a good person.
I've had a great ride. I'm just blessed. I always say, if you're blessed, try to bless somebody. My heart is always open.
Next week, action. We first met them 18 years ago.
We gotta say action.
Action. Much has changed in their life since then.
McCaffrey takes it home.
One of America's great football families, the McCaffreys. Plus high school football in Juneau, Alaska. Then and now.
This game is for Juneau, all of Juneau.
Next week on FS1.